Welcome back to Dollars and Cents with Lindsey and Dennis. How are you today, Dennis?
Hey, living the dream, Linz. Perfect weather out there today.
It is. Today we're going to talk about the benefits, pros, and cons of debit versus credit cards and what the differences are.
Yes, boy. I don't know. You'll have to do a lot of those answers because I haven't used a debit card in 20 years.
You haven't used a debit card.
Cash, baby.
Well, did you know that one of the benefits of having a credit card is the liability for theft? If somebody gets a hold of your card or gets access to your number, you're only liable up to $50 per credit card if somebody gets you fraudulently.
Right. And if they get your debit card, they can empty your bank account, right?
Correct. Any of the money you have. You have to be able to stop it yourself. So as quick as you can catch it, that's really kind of the end of the protection. Most banks are pretty relentless with liability for fraudulent charges.
Yes.
Another pro and con of credit cards are it's basically a loan from the bank that collects interest.
Correct.
So you might not have to have the funds available today to make the purchase, but that can be a dangerous game.
Very dangerous. You know, statistically, people spend 34% more when they shop with a credit card.
Really?
Yes.
That is a very interesting fact. So you do have to be careful. They also a lot of time have fees. Sometimes debit cards have fees, but that really is contingent on the bank. But credit cards always have some kind of fee.
Absolutely. And one thing people don't understand too is that if you have a late payment on one credit card, many credit cards have a universal clause, which means they can jack your rate on all of your credit cards.
Really?
And some of those can be pretty brutal. Years ago, just this to show you how out of control this can be. Years ago, I had a client that had $93,000 in credit card debt.
Wow.
I mean, he was having a good time. And so imagine $2,000 a month in interest for the minimum payment.
Wow. And that's not even touching any of the principal. So
Yeah.
you're never going down. You're essentially continuing to pay the interest
Correct.
and playing this long-term game.
Right.
There is another benefit of having a credit card, though. They actually do help your credit score, where your debit card has no bearing on your credit score. So they can have some positive features to them if used correctly.
Right. And you can get points. I get points on my credit card. I've actually just paid for a trip to Aspen with my credit card points.
Oh, where are you sending me next? Kidding.
Back to Auburn.
Ouch. No, the perks really are a lot of times what get folks. You know, the store cards have kind of incentives. The airline cards have incentives. Those are really usually what baits and hooks, but they can be a useful tool if used properly. The best piece of advice we can give is if you charge something on your credit card to pay it off immediately within that month time frame so you're not collecting interest.
Absolutely. Interest and affect your credit. All kinds of bad things can happen. You could spend the rest of your life paying off credit cards.
And really not ever getting ahead.
Right.
So those are the major differences. They're also, something to consider. I tend to use my credit cards online shopping as well, because then I at least know the liability piece. Sometimes I'm on these websites that I'm like, do I really trust this vendor? I don't even really know where the source is coming from, but I want the item. So I use my credit card knowing that I've got that liability protection rather than having my debit card amount just out on the internet.
Right. And you can use PayPal as well with your credit cards. And I'm not sure about your debit cards, though. That way, at least you know you're going through PayPal.
Correct, but those are a lot of times linked to your bank. I don't know what the liability on fraud for those are, though. We should look that would be a good follow-up video that we can do for you guys.
There you go.
Some questions and learn.
So credit cards, don't leave home without them.
But be careful with them. Use them wisely.
Absolutely.
Great. Until next time.